So the thing I like about venison, and particularly ground venison in this case, is we can add a lot of different spices and just completely change the profile. So a lot of people use ground venison for burgers, and that's really about it. But if you have a lot of it left over in your freezer, there's some really cool products that we can make. We can make snack sticks, summer sausage, and in this case, we're gonna make the andouille. So we went with the andouille today because we have a simple spice profile. It's going to be a coarse ground too, so we're not having to emulsify it like you would a hot dog or a kielbasa. So it's good in that regard. And then, like I said, the spices are super simple. We have salt, we've got some cayenne pepper, we've got some black pepper, and looks like a little bit of paprika, and a couple other processing ingredients, and some minced garlic and some onion. So just with that, we're going to be able to make a really solid sausage here at home that we can use in a variety of dishes, serve it up on a bun. And also we're going to take this to the smoker too. And we discussed in the last video how much smoke can enhance the flavor of a final product. So andouille is what we're going with today. I think that's a good place to start. So we're using a pre-ground venison because we have a lot of it left over. We already used up all our tenderloins. We have cooked a lot of our roast, and it seems like that's the last thing to go is the burger. So we're going to use some of that up and make a small batch. We're doing a 5-pound batch here just to try our hand at it. And the good thing about it is it's 5 pounds. You didn't use up all of your front shoulders. You didn't use up all of your hind roast into grinding a sausage that you weren't 100% confident in. So with that being said, we're gonna get things going. Okay, so a quick look here at our ingredient list. Pretty standard stuff you should have in the cabinet. On to our raw ingredients. Step 1. Got 3 pounds of ground venison here. Just thawed it out. Still pretty cold. We want to keep it as cold as possible. I'm going for a 60% ratio here. 60% venison to 40% pork shoulders. So we got that on the cutting board now. We're going to trim it up. Really fat content here is just standard pork shoulder. Can't go wrong there. It's going to add a lot of moisture, and it's going to blend really well with the flavor profile of your ground venison. So 2 basic ingredients to get started there before we start the grind. All right, on to the first grind. We are taking our chunked up pieces of pork shoulder here, just feeding them through real nice and easy, letting that coarse plate that we have, the biggest plate that we have for the KitchenAid grinder, do the work here just to break that tissue down. And we're going to take that and we're going to mix it in by hand with the ground product that we already have. So no need to grind the venison through again. We already have that taken care of from last season. So we're going to take this here, mix it up, and you want to keep this extremely cold. I can't stress that enough. Honestly, on this run we could have even had it a little colder, but just for the sake of everything, getting this video ready for you guys, we went ahead and went for it, but as cold as possible, right out of the freezer on the pork shoulder. Chunk it up, put it in the freezer, and you'll be good to go. Keep it cold. All right, so with that passed through, we're going with the medium grinder plate here. This will just set us up for the texture that we're shooting for with the andouille. I feel like this is a really solid plate to start with, and if we're keeping our meat cold, it's gonna go right through and be really awesome for a final product. Okay, and we're on to step 2, season and grind. I love the simplicity of this recipe. We have some salt, some pepper, fresh onion, garlic, and a few other hot pepper spices there, and we are going to be making a really, really simple but delicious sausage. So we're going to dice up a little bit of onion here. I went with half of an onion, and not as fine as I could have went, but it really comes through in the final product with that onion in there. It's good. And we had some minced garlic. We got some kosher salt. Just kind of spread that all over. Key ingredient, got to have the salt. Be using our fresh onion. Here we go. We're throwing that in now. And that was about the perfect, on 5 pounds, this is about the perfect amount of onion for sure. And then a little bit of cayenne. Some recipes call for less, but I honestly feel like you could add a little bit more cayenne if you like a little extra spice. And then some coarse, definitely the work for the coarse black pepper is definitely worth it. And a little bit of paprika too in there, just for color. It might aid in a little bit of flavor, but definitely the red hue that we're looking for on the andouille is due to that paprika in there as well. So gonna mix it up, get it really mixed up. We're looking for a really tacky texture right there. All right, so we dumped all our spices in, and we're just giving it a good mix by hand here. Just want to make sure we get all the ingredients. We're kind of flipping it from top to bottom and pressing it around. And I guess if you had some kids, this would be another good job for them. Keep them busy for a couple minutes. But a couple things to look for. Kind of want to look for the protein extraction here. We can see that it's starting to pull away. And that's the consistency that we're going for, to sort of stick into my hand. So we're going to keep rolling that through, and we still have one more grind left and a couple more of the ingredients that we're going to use right over here. We've got some, essentially just dried out milk. So that helps bind the final product, makes it more consistent all the way through, and help retain moisture as well. So we're going to add a little bit of water, and then we're going to add the SureCure. We're adding that for obviously safety and cured meats. We're going to be smoking this sausage in a warm environment. So when you're smoking sausages, SureCure just ensures you that you're not going to have any botulism issues. That's something we definitely don't want to play with, especially with wild game. So going to be adding that, and it also aids in the final color of the product too. So it'll be a nice cured color, like a bright red, sort of a pink color too when we cut through the center of it. So a little bit more mixing here left to go, and we're gonna get this thing ground through. Love this product, the evaporated dry milk. Pick that up at any grocery store. It's pretty popular stuff. And then a little bit of SureCure too. Like I said, aids in color, preservation, all of that. And you're just going to want to give those to a good mix. Good thing you can do too, you can just patty out a little mini burger like that and fry it up, just to make sure that you like the blend of the spices. You can add more ingredients if you like. Like I said, with venison sausages, any kind of sausage, sky's the limit. You can add thyme, oregano, parsley, all of that stuff to enhance the flavor. Today we're just going to be keeping it simple with the spices I mentioned, but it's definitely a good place to check. This is going to be really close to how the final product will taste. So keep that in mind. You can always do that. Hot tip. Okay, we're on to our final grind, and we're just putting little bits in there at a time, working it down and letting it do its thing. And this is the texture that we're going for. You can see with that metal grind plate, we're on the right track. All right, a hot tip. Hot tip number 2. To wet this plunger, and it'll make your life a lot easier. Because when you have this much protein extraction and a recipe like this that has some coarse ingredients in it, you want to definitely be able to push that down into the grinder. So that makes it a little easier for you. All right, we're down to our last little bit. We're gonna push this through and finish things off. As far as speed goes, it's running on a 2, so I really wasn't pushing this thing. All right, on to step 3. We're gonna do some stuffing. We're gonna load this chamber up. You really want to pack that meat down in there to ensure there's no air pockets. If you got air pockets in your chamber, you're going to have them in your sausage. So load that hog casing up on there with a little bit of water. Put some water on the horn, put some water in the casing, just to help that thing slide through there. And tie your end off. You're going to run a little bit out just to make sure you don't have any air pockets in the chamber there. And in just a few seconds, we are stuffing sausage. Look at that coming out. Looks great. Holding a little bit of pressure too with your thumb and index finger, just to help with the diameter of the sausage as well. Little tip for you guys. All right, so that was our first pass here, and on an andouille, I mean, you can really make them whatever size you want. Sometimes on the smoked sausages, I'll make them just a little bit longer, because usually we dice them up and put them in a dish after we've completed the smoking process. So it's easier if you have about 2 people, honestly, because you can run these out, run the whole strand out, and then come back and link them, and you'll want to go forward on the first link, and then on the next link you'll go towards yourself after you get them all out of your stuffer. But if you have 2 people, you can link them right off. It's the approach we do at the shop, just right off the stuffer. So we're going to demonstrate that here. Recruit your wife or a friend or even one of the kiddos and knock it out that way, and you'll make quick work of it. Okay, so here's our finished product. Venison andouille. Looks solid. Flavor I think is going to be amazing. We're going to let these dry out for, I would say, a couple hours before we go on the smoke. We might even let them dry out overnight, and then we'll put them on the smokehouse, and we'll go over the smoking procedure when we get to that point. But for now, I'm just really pleased how they turned out. Like I said, size, you can really stuff them to whatever size you want. Just depends on what you're going to do with them. These are pretty much bun length where I've got them, so they're probably 6-inch lengths, and they're good to go. And as we were mentioning too, 2-man stuffing team kind of helps if you want to link them right off the stuffer. Also, a C clamp when you're trying to operate one of these is a huge help, because if you don't have one, this stuffer will move all over the place. So definitely recommend that, just to stabilize it. And then, like I said, get your wife or get a friend and to get some help as you're running this thing. And if you are doing it by yourself, just run them out, and you can just link them like I showed you. So as they're coming off, you're linking one away from you, and the next one you're doing a pinch, and you're linking towards you. All right, we're on to our 4th and final step. It's time to smoke. It's my favorite part of the process. Going to be preheating our smoker to about 150, maybe just a hair over. Going to let it preheat and get up to temp. 2 schools of thought here. You can throw the links right on there and start smoking right away, which is kind of what I'm doing here. It's in a little bit of a time crunch, so went ahead and got the smoke rolling. Or you can let them smoke for an hour without applying smoke. Totally up to you. I got 150 for 1 hour. Let's say there's no smoke, and then 160 for 4 hours. Then we'll apply some smoke. And 170 till we reach internal temperature of 160 degrees. Just a shot here of the andouilles right before they go on. They've been drying out in the fridge overnight, so the casing is nice and dry, and it's ready to take that smoke. After 3 hours here, we've got some great color. Man, those things look good. Perfect color. I was tempted to temp them and pull them there, but I know they needed a few more hours just to finish off the cooking process. But I'm going to put them back to bed here for a second and let them roll. So we got 2 hours later, finished cooking temp. We're setting our smoker to 175 with our internal temp target at 160 degrees to ensure the safety of the final product. Our temp thermometer there, we're reading 163 degrees. And we're going to pull these things off. They're done. It's ready to eat. Going to find some ice. It's great to get the sausages in an ice bath. You want to do that. You want to get them in an ice bath and get them cooled out. It'll help firm things up for sure, and just lower that temperature so they're not continuing to cook. Which if they do that, sometimes they can dry out if you don't get any water on them. So this kind of shocks their system, shocks the system of the whole sausage, and firms things up, and we have consistency all the way through. So final, we got great smoke color, just what I was looking for. Awesome product. All right, guys, I just want to say thank you for checking out the andouille video. Definitely stay tuned for some more venison recipes we're going to be working on here in the next few months. So super excited for that, and definitely want you guys to get in your kitchen and try some of these recipes out. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, definitely shoot them my way. Would love to interact with you and talk about sausage making. I'm definitely passionate about it, and I want to see more people getting involved in that. It's a great way to get kids involved, to get friends, family involved in your harvest. So there's a lot of things we can do with our wild game, and this is just the beginning. So if you like what you see here, you can check us out at saltandstrings.com, and also check us out on Facebook at Salt and Strings Butchery. We're always posting over there, or shoot us an email, anything like that if you have any questions. So like I said, thank you all so much for your time, and God bless you all. Take care.